Alright, so we're going to begin painting, and of course start with the nose cone, the Star Orbiter. If you notice, this nose cone is identical to the High Flyer XLs. Probably a PNC 60. I mean, they're both BT60 body tubes, so interchangeable parts. Gotta love it. Got this wiped off. I'm going to give it one more dusting. Of course, we're outside. Any bit of dust, a bird might take a crap on it, but I'm gonna do it anyways. We got the old 2-in-1. Keep it going until I figure I don't like it, I guess. Starting to warm up a little bit. It's about 73 degrees today, early in the morning. So we might be able to get this primed today and be done. And if all else, heck, we might even put some red on it. Maybe. I might wait. Gotta be patient. So here we go. Got it nice and shook up for at least a solid minute. Wind's going that way. And we're gonna get this going. Might just start at this angle because I always kind of miss the tips. Give it a rotate. Something like that. Get another shake. Getting better. Remember to keep shaking it. Okay, I think that's our first coat. We'll give this a couple hours, 3 or so hours, and give it a light sanding, some 320, and we're going to paint it white. Prime it white, that is, the bonding primer. Alright, so the Star Orbiter's nose cone's been out here for a couple hours now. I'm going to go ahead and say that's pretty darn dry. And go ahead and sand it with some 320. Okay, so we got some fresh pieces of 320. We're gonna get this Star Orbiter nose cone roughed up, sanded up. Still on the first layer. It's already pretty darn smooth. Don't hardly see any seams. All right, so we're going in dry. This one we're going to lighten it up a little bit. And we just barely start seeing the white nose cone. Kind of too small to go in circles. So I'm just going to kind of do it like I usually do it. We're starting to get down there already. So I think the tip's okay. Just going to keep on working it. Might be able to go in circles a little bit now. That's how much we did the 320. Probably flip it. There we go. Stop and check. Okay, blow it off. Make sure we're not going down too far. Now, my goal is with the shoulder, because it is sitting pretty loose in the Star Orbiter, which is what I like, that's what I prefer. I can always build up. I'm gonna sand this, but of course adding the paint, adding the primer, all that is going to fill this in and make it a little more snug into the shoulder of the body tube of the rocket. So far we're looking good. And the shoulder doesn't have to be nearly as pretty, of course. Okay. One thing that I'm not noticing is that it's not caking up. It's not clogging up. I mean, yeah, it's clogging up this a little bit, but it definitely had plenty of time to dry, so I think we're good. I didn't wait a whole entire day. I literally did this morning. It's just been out here in the sun ever since. So just kind of might just go this way. This might be a no-no, but I'm going to. Kind of go in circles. This is just thinning it out a little bit. And remember, functionality over beauty, right? So if this starts sitting too snug in the rocket, I'm definitely gonna have to sand it, scuff it up. So this will be looking good, but this might look a little rough, but it'll still be the reddish orange color. Well, mostly red. I don't really have a red orange. It says to paint it orange, but I'm gonna paint it more of a reddishness. It's powdering up pretty good. Doesn't really feel like it's caking up. I think we dried. It's dry enough in a couple hours on a 80 degree, average 80 degree day. And that's that. We're ready for the white coat. Clean it off. White coat. Time for some white. So we're going with the white coat, the old bonding primer. Got this all wiped off with a damp cloth. And let it dry. It's been sitting out here for a couple minutes now, thinking that it's ready. So this stuff's a little different than the gray. It just seems a little more runny, so definitely want to not be too close. No way. You see that? That's the dangers of painting outside. I got him. Look at there. Look what it left. Alright. Thankfully this is just the primer. Gotta get my boost set up. getting any runs this time, it looks like. Hopefully I'll go ahead and jinx myself by saying that. But the runs will sand off. It's fine. I think we're done. That's all it needs. Yep. Let it sit out here for a couple hours. Let it bake. Maybe give it a sand with some 400. Maybe hit it with the final primer. If I don't run out, I'm gonna have to go make a trip to the old store, get some more. Okay, here we go. So here we are a day later. We got kind of a matte satin looking kind of finish on there. It dried up. I ran out of time yesterday, and so it definitely gave it plenty of time to dry. Go ahead and get this sanded with some 400 and put on the next coat of the gray. So here we are outside. I'm trying to get you guys a good shot of the light, the sunlight. Get this sanded with some 400. So I kind of forgot to bring my tripod out here, but here I started till right about here. Started getting down to the gray a little bit and then backed off. So now I'm starting to just work my way down until we get to the shoulder, the 400 grit. Here we go. Worked our way down to the shoulder. Maybe a little too deep. Maybe just right. Maybe we're at the Goldilocks. It is feeling really, really smooth to the touch. Start working the shoulder. I'm going to work the shoulder a little bit more. I don't really care if it shows too much gray. It's fine with me. So we're done. See, I got this all the way back down to the plastic, and these ridges here, I've actually sanded those pretty much smooth, and those might be helpful with the fit. But remember, I am going to hit this entire thing with the gray next, including this, but I don't want this getting too thick when I start putting the paint on. So that's why I sanded it a lot more. It's still fitting good in the Rocket, but even before I sanded it. But now I took a little bit more off, not too much, not where we're taking so much plastic where it's fragile. I just want to make sure that we're staying smooth in and out of the Rocket, not snagging, not over snug, not falling out when you turn it over. Just right, Goldilocks. I'm not worried about that seam. I'm not really too worried about this, but I do want most of this colored as the rest of this. And that's the hands of someone who just sanded white primer. Alright, get her cleaned up, and we'll see if we can get another coat on this afternoon or tomorrow. It's already getting kind of late. So we got it all cleaned off, wiped off with a damp cloth, let it dry, even hit with an air duster, blew it off, let the can sit out here in the sun, let it warm up, probably about 75 or so, which is pretty nice out. Shaking the can now for more than a minute. A little test spray. This can's about out. Got Gray Cat to help out. I'm getting my spray, girl. finish up this can. This will probably be it. Just doing this last coat right here. Don't mind my neighbors. It's going on pretty good. Don't see any seams. Don't see any blemishes so far. Keep shaking it. Also did another test fit on the shoulder into the airframe. Went in great. Maybe a little loose. So this will probably thicken it back up a little bit. I think that's fine right there. Got a little bit of drips right there. Good thing it's primer. Let it sit out here until the sun goes down. I don't see any seams whatsoever. Yeah, a little bit there, so what? Right, here are a couple days later with the final prime layer of the Star Orbiter. Everything's looking pretty smooth right now, but we're going to hit it with some 600 grit. It's fitting a little snug in the nose cone, or in the shoulder of the body tube, so I'm definitely going to sand this some more. Yeah. We're just going to get this all nice and smoothed out and dusted off, and then we're going to get to painting tomorrow. It's starting to get dark. So we're going to paint the Star Orbiter's nose cone, and of course eventually the body. So we have to decide, because it says to paint it orange, and to me that looks more red, whether in the sunlight. But you know what, I got plenty of red rockets and not a whole lot of orange rockets, so I think I might just go ahead and go with the orange. But I was going to do one of these reds, but I'm thinking I'm just going to go ahead and go with the orange. That's what it calls for, and it's Halloween time anyway, so black and orange, why not? Here we are. We go with the orange. I did a couple test sprays, did a lot of shaking. It's up to temperature. It's not really hot out, but the sun pretty good, so I know that temperature is warm, and this is pretty warm right here, so it's not cold. So I'm thinking we'll start from the tip, work our way this way. Hopefully this wind ain't gonna mess us up today. Nice and easy. Give it a turn. It's going on pretty decent so far. We're going to do this once, wait about 15 or so minutes, and then we're going to put a second coat on. We're going to do 3 coats total. Dang, gotta run. Wow. I gotta run. First time. First thing. Wow. I guess this type right here, not the 2X, goes on a lot thinner. Well, we'll see how it goes on the next couple of coats. Wow, dang. Of course, it being windy out here don't really help. So far, I don't know if this is a mission abort or not. But after a few choice words, and here it is about 15 minutes later, Yeah, I definitely got some runs, and it's not the end of the world, but it sucks. It's just still a little frustrating. I'm not exactly sure why. It is windy, maybe a little, it got a little more in some areas because yeah, some of it's kind of light. And my nose cone might fall off as I'm turning it, so I guess it'll give it a little bit of texture. It's all learning experience. We'll get through it, and everything's fixable, right? Alright, so this is getting kind of sketchy. This might fall down into the grass. There we go. Oh, it might even blow off from the wind. So I could tell I didn't hit that spot. See, some of it's shinier than others. But we got one more coat to go, so I'm only doing 3. And I can always wet sand it later. Wait a week after this, wet sand it with some high grit, like 1,000+ grit, then put clear coat on it. And that should be not too bad, hopefully. So here we are 15 minutes later. Put on the final coat. Alright, all or nothing. Well, the wind's going this way now. So let's try this. Swirling. I don't know if you saw that. Hope it don't fall off the stick. That would just make this complete, wouldn't it? Getting peel. Look at that. See that? This isn't 2x. So why are we getting that peel? That was definitely not wanted. Maybe I waited too long. Oh, we got some sanding in our future, because that's not good at all. I can't overlook that. Okay, here we are with the Star Orbiter's nose cone. And this is the next morning, and you can see what we got going on, hopefully. Let's see if I can get you in focus. We'll lock it right there. Okay. So you can see some of the rough spots where it didn't lay down quite as flat as it could have, as in the paint kind of absorbs and doesn't have that rough, not so shiny look. And you can even see where I got some of the runs right there. It's dry to the touch, but I know this isn't cured. I gotta wait at least a couple days to a week. Some guys even say 2 weeks. I don't know about all that. I'm pretty sure it'll be fine before I start wet sanding it and And I probably will give it a bit of a wet sand and a buff to kind of straighten all that out. I just wanted to show you, this is the results. So what happens when you want to go ahead and paint when it's too windy. You don't have nearly control of the spray. It'll be alright. It'll be alright. I wanted to point out that crazing alligator skin right there. It was very noticeable when it was still wet, and now it's really not all that noticeable, but it's still there and it bothered me. Why that happened, I don't know. Only waited 15 minutes in between coats. Wasn't too long, I don't think, but maybe it was. I don't know. What do you guys think? Alright, so here we are with the Star Orbiter. I may or may not, because these fillets actually came out pretty decent, fill these in with some filler. Whether it's the Bondo filler, or, and if I do it, I want to try the sanding sealer, the wood filler. I might do it just to try it. But this is just getting ready to get primed. We already got the nose cone done. So this is our next step. Do we or do we not even mess with this? Do we take that extra step for the finish or no? I just might do it just because. So I decided to do it. Got the forward launch lug filleted. I still got to do this one. I'm going to do this one for you. I got this fin done. And I think I did it. I think I did it all right. Probably a little bit of excessive, but hey, it's all going to get sanded for the most part and just smooth out the fillets. That's all we're trying to do. So you're watching this live. This is my first attempt trying this using wood putty as a fillet filler. Got a little bit of water for my finger. Now this right here, I did put it on there. This stuff right here is a little bit thick, at least the Gorilla wood filler is. Maybe DAP or another brand might not be as clumpy and pretty much dry. It wasn't really sticking, so I attempted to use the old popsicle stick. I get a little bit on here. I can get it on there a little bit, but it's really just not fitting. So it's going to make my fingers nasty, but I'm going to use my finger. And you might not want to do that, so maybe wear gloves. But it does wash right off. So see, that worked pretty good. I'm not using so much water where I'm scared that it's going to warp the fins. So put a little bit on the lug, why not? All right, that's a little bit. It's almost like a Play-Doh consistency. Maybe not quite peanut butter, but maybe almost like Play-Doh. So I take a little bit of the water, get a little bit wet, and just use that to kind of get it in there. And that's probably why I'm making a bit of a mess, or it looks sloppy. But I'm getting it up in there. That's what we want to do. We want to fill basically what the wood filler, or the wood glue, did not fill. See, didn't have enough there. Yeah, very doughy. That's the best way I can describe it. Okay, a little bit of water. Kind of just liquefies it. Just I'm not worried about it doing anything to the paper. I'm really not, because it's not a whole lot of water. And if it does, then guess what? I guess we're going to learn from this, ain't we? Let's see what we can get away with and what we can't, but I'm pretty confident it's not going to harm anything. It's not a whole lot of water. It's probably being absorbed by the wood filler anyways, and it'll dry. This is all cosmetic, not needed, not necessary. But when I did the high flyer, the fillets definitely didn't look that great because I didn't do this. I noticed that right away even when I started priming it. So I might just start doing this. It was either this or the Bondo putty, and I wanted to try the wood filler. A little too little right there. Keep wiping it, it'll probably booger up on me. Now this right here is pretty wet, so I'll just smooth that out. It's all gonna get sanded, primed. I get a little bit on the edge there. Do the other side. This is all still drying. It's probably driving some of you crazy. He's not using gloves? Oh, he's going to regret that. Probably. Trying to go back and forward, which is going to booger up on you. So we'll see what I'm talking about, if I know what I'm talking about. If these get all out of shape because of a little bit of moisture, then wow. But I don't think they will. I keep pushing it this way, so I want to go this way. Most of it's going to get sanded off. It's just literally to cover up the imperfections that's from the wood glue. And we get sanded smooth-ish. Alright. Now we'll leave this alone. I'm probably overkill at this point. Seems like this is not really sticking right there. Okay, I'm leaving it alone, I promise. This is what we got. it sanded. And once this is done, prime time. Get it? So do you love sanding? Then you're gonna love Rocketry. So here we go. Now I started on this one. I got it pretty decent and smooth. And I started on this launch lug here. Now, I didn't realize, but when I was putting the stuff on, it was getting down into the aft section. I got most of it out using like a sanding stick that I have and a toothpick and all that. I was actually able to kind of pry it out of there. But yeah, we are going to get to sanding because that's what we do, because we love our rockets, right? So with the 320, I've just been kind of, doing the old little something like this. Just trying to kind of smooth it out a little bit and shape it. Probably won't really see what my exact shape is until I start priming it. Just from that right there, see? So some of the wood glue is showing right here though. And then we just got to get the tip of the edge there. Just to smooth it out a little bit, just to touch it. It's sanding right up, that's for sure. It probably doesn't have to be super perfect. Just a little extra to try and give a little bit extra love before we actually start painting it. And maybe hit the back edge a little bit right here. Now, what about this lug? Okay. Now, I do have my cardboard assister. So I bet you I can kind of get in there. A little something like this. Coming at that angle, coming at that angle. See, and I sanded all this too to fill in those spirals as well on the launch lug itself. See, we got a little bit. Focus. Here, I'll lock it. So we got some here. And you got some, I'm gonna have to get that out as well. It's kind of like the same thing that was on the aft end. Some of it's just getting inside. So that's still a little bit rough right there. So the cardboard is a little bit too big, but I can actually fold it like this and just trying to get up in there like that. Yeah, the lighting's not the best. I might have to change this setup a little bit. But you can see it's definitely smoothing it out. And these do sit pretty tall off the body, so that'd be a heck of a gap. Let's see if I can get up in there like this. Just a little bit. There we go. Work this side. Might have to invest in some more flexible type sandpaper that's meant for contouring and getting in the hard to reach places. But this is working okay. And then I'll hit the top. Just smooth it out, get some of that roughness off. And oh, we got some right here, a little bit of jaggy. Looks like I'm hitting the launch lug a little bit too. It's kind of peeling it back. But I probably won't know really what else needs to be done until I start priming it. So that's the next step. Just prepping it for priming. We'll have to clean it off, dust it off. Get that first coat on there. All right, I'll come back to you when this is done. It is time to get this Star Orbiter painted. We'll prime first, obviously, but you know what I'm gonna do. I got all that sanded, about as good as it's gonna be. Put this layer of primer on there, the good old 2-in-1. We'll see how that stuff shows up. We'll go from there. All right, so the wind's going to the rocket, so I think we'll be all right. Not really worried about any of this right here getting hit too much or too little. Long rocket. It'll eat up a lot of primer and paint for sure. And this can's probably about out, starting to sputter. I did get a few rockets out of it though. And the wind's not too bad, so it's not going all over the place. Probably won't sand it today. Probably won't have time for it to dry and all that. Okay, I think that's a first coat. If there's anything I missed, yeah, a little bit up here. Got some fuzzies here and there, but you know those are going to go away as soon as we start sanding it. So now, the main event. That's what we got out of that. Okay, that's all right. We're going to do some more sanding. We're going to see if we can shape them even more. I'm not going to add any more filler. I'm just going to work with what this is going to give me. And you know, it's really not that bad. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. So I consider it a win. Okay. This is a pretty good spot right there and there and here. Alright, so that's about it. We'll let this dry and we'll get the sand in it as soon as possible. So I'm out here getting the Star Orbiter sanded. I've already started here. Haven't done this fin yet, but I have done the body tube here. Really been working on smoothing out the fillets, getting all the fuzzies off with the 320 grit. Got this side done, the edges up to there. See, like I haven't hit those fuzzies right there. I haven't hit some of this and that fin. I haven't hit any of this. And I haven't hit that. I haven't hit this. So I will get back to you as soon as I'm done with all this. But so far, so good. It's looking like it's going to smooth out pretty good for the fillets. This is what we got in the old Star Orbiter. This is all the sanding that I did. I'm going to go ahead and put on the flat white. I've had some good success with this, so. Alright, let's get this done. This is about as sanded as I got it right here. Late afternoon, go ahead and put a coat on it. Maybe try to sand it here in a day or two. Hit it with the 320. Got it pretty smoothed out, but I'm wondering how this is going to turn out. This is pretty smooth, but it could be smoother. All right. Got this sprayed about 5 minutes ago. Probably not even, more like maybe 3 minutes. Put on that flat coat, that flat white. Pretty thick, even though this is the second coat. I wanted to try and, well, you can still kind of see some of the spirals a little bit here and there. But, yeah. But this right, the fillets are looking pretty good though. Not too bad. Just a second coat, and of course we'll smooth this out with 400. And then we'll go on to the final gray coat. This, you know, this is all going to get sanded anyway, so see how smooth we can get it. So I started wet sanding at 400 grit. And I've done pretty much this area here. Started on this lug. Got a little bit more work. Still got like some thicker areas to get, like right here is a little bit thicker than the other areas. But that's pretty much what I want to see right there. Is when it's just, that gray's just starting to show. So, got the old power bowl with the 400 grit. Actually, that 400 grit right there has taken quite the beating. I've done several rockets with that, and it's still going pretty good. Doesn't have too many scratch-causing wrinkles in it, so I'm definitely watching for that. Because, yeah, we don't want to put gouges in there and we're not realizing it while we're sanding. Just going to work this with the 400 until we get a lot more of that gray showing. That's Butters the cat, by the way. He is totally up for adoption if you guys want to come get him. I finally got this Star Orbiter sanded, and I don't even want to tell you how long it's been. I've had the build video up for forever now. Went ahead and painted other things and kind of neglected this one, but that's just how it goes sometimes. I went ahead and sanded it with the 400. It is ready for the third and final coat of the gray primer. All right, let's do this. What did I mention? Said something about being October, right? We'll just pay attention to when this video actually uploads. That should be a real kicker. Halloween time when I did the nose cone. Slacking, I know. Still got some imperfections here and there. Maybe they'll even out on this last coat when I hit it with the 600. Especially on the fillets. Got about an hour of daylight left, maybe. That's actually not looking too bad on that side. Okay. Okay. I'm thinking that's a coat. I'm not worried about going on too thick because I'm gonna hit it with that 600. All right. See you when this dries. Star Orbiter. Almost finished. Got that last primer on there. Time to hit it with some 600 grit. Or at least equivalent to. Now, I got a new thing to showcase here. This is flexible sponge, wet or dry, sandpaper. I got this from old Amazon. I'll put a link to it down below. I'm not affiliated or sponsored by anybody. Maybe one day, but that's not what's important here. What's important here, I want to see how it works on this. Flexible, you say? Wet or dry, you say? Well, we'll see, huh? See if I can curve it like this, especially around the fillets. That'd be great. Should be washable. That's what it says. Does seem like it's not kinking up. It seems like it's staying flexible. I wonder if I can flex it there too, yeah? Yeah. Let's see. So I definitely needed something. Seems like it's working, and this is 500 to 600. So I don't know how that works. It decides when it's 500 or 600. See how well it washes off. It washed off here pretty good. This is getting really, really smooth, that's for sure. Oof, nice. Gotta get this thing painted. Tired of it staring at me. This sandpaper right here don't seem that bad. It's definitely working. It's sanding. Maybe a little faster than I want. Just don't want to get down too far. We're wet sanding, so I don't want to get down to the cardboard. Just rinsing off. Let's see about like on this end here. And you know, I want to say it was around here, but I can't tell where the seam is for the two body tubes connected there, where the coupler is. So that's actually what I wanted, so that's a good thing. But I got to decide when I do paint it, how far up do I want the orange or the black to go. Unless I can find the seam again when I sand this, which I probably can if I went down far enough. It seems to be curving around here. Actually, I can kind of go in circles a little bit easier. That's what they say you're supposed to do, is kind of go in circles when you're sanding. You saw about how thick I put that last coat on. It wasn't terribly thick, but look at there. It's working. Yeah, it's working. It's sandpaper. It's coming right off. Supposed to be washable. So far, I think this is good flexible sponge sandpaper. Of course, I got some paper towels too in my pocket, so they don't fly away because it's always windy out here somehow. Wipe this off a little bit. Yeah, I didn't really get too far down there. I'm not seeing any white primer, so wipe these off a little bit. I mean, they are really, really smooth. Butters the cat's talking to me. I don't know if you hear him. He's saying that he's hungry. He is my outside part-time cat, but he does need to be adopted. We can get him fixed and get him to somebody that wants him, because he is a sweet little buddy. That's for sure. Ain't that right? Did you know that if you feed outside cats, they are technically legally yours? At least in the state of Florida. So I guess I got to claim him now. It's kind of hard to say no to him. So I'm thinking I'm sold on these. This is the 800 to 1000. I guess you manifest it to be whatever grit you need it to be. I really don't understand how that works. But I've been hitting it with this 500 to 600 and it's been doing great. I mean, I've been able to get into the lugs real nice and all the little crevices. And it's been making them real nice and smooth. So I think I'm sold on that stuff. That sanding sponge. And yeah, I know cats are the most invasive species of animal on this earth, and he's an outside cat and I feed him, but I am doing my part. I did go to a seminar recently in Fort Myers with fortunate ferals and took a class to start getting them trapped and spayed, neutered, and start getting a control on the population around here. That way they have a better quality of life. So I'm seriously going to get him fixed. And of course, if you ever plan on giving away cats or any kind of animals like that, make sure that they're fixed first, because otherwise you got to trust the other person to get them fixed, which they may or may not. But that way I at least know that he is. So yeah, he's a he. Star Orbiter on a stick. Oh yeah, time to get this thing painted orange, at least to right about here, because that is actually right about where the body tube joint is. So it's actually starting to show up through the primer, but it's not showing up through the primer as bad as that nick right there where I was putting it on the stick and it kind of got it made contact with the ceiling fan. You know, like Close Encounter of like the stupid kind. Hopefully that won't show up through the paint, but it happens. My brain was telling me, watch out for the ceiling fan, and I did it anyways. So hopefully this works out, because I don't know. So I went ahead and got this off the trash can table, and holy crap, is that one of the biggest fire ant hills I've ever had in my yard. That has been there not that long, and they moved in. So I'm gonna try not to get ate up too bad. I'm gonna challenge myself to not get ate up too bad. Keeps getting funnier every time I see it. Yes, the wind wanted to pick up just because it knew I was going to paint. And I got it on that nice flimsy stick. Wonder if it'll snap. We'll see. Anyways, I got the orange that I use for the nose cone warmed up. Thinking it is time. No mask. I'm just gonna hit it pretty much to here, and then I'll mask it off when I do the black. This ain't gonna work. That's way too flimsy. This is not gonna work out at all. No, this ain't. No. Totally new approach. I'm gonna rotate it by the fins. I've got it a lot lower to the ground. This could go horribly wrong. This is it, first coat. Let's do this. got really, really bad drifts up near the front. That is terrible. There's a massive nose cone at least. It blew right into it. Of course, I was trying to do it left-handed, and I'm not great at anything left-handed. Yep, that's horrible. And low to the ground, so we got nice bug texture added. Yeah. Welcome to half-assed rocketry. This is how we do it. Oh boy. We'll see how it goes next couple coats. Second coat. Swirling. Got to try and cover up that nick from the ceiling fan. That should have been an omen. But I didn't listen. Why would I do such a thing? Maybe I shouldn't spray it today. Maybe the young rocketry kid's still inside me. He gets impatient. Hope you guys don't see my ass crack. Otherwise, it's $9.99 a month. Y'all getting it for free. Lucky dogs. Stirring up every bug. I'm gonna put a couple coats on here, so maybe if I can just make it completely stupid, you know. If you're gonna do it, let's do it right. Let's just go all out and just screw it all up, huh? All that nice sanding we did. Yeah. It's actually kind of cool out as well. Probably high 60s, close to 70 or so. It's actually nasty out all day. Now it's cleared up, but I figure, you know what? I need to try and get this done. I might do a couple coats. I'm gonna come this way. Maybe I can kind of even out that drip. Or make it worse. How about that? I need to quit saying that so much. Sound like that chick off of Dr. Phil. How you like them apples? Movie trivia, where'd that come from? Well, we're not making apples, we're making oranges. Orange, strange texture rockets, that's what we're doing. So I just did a coat off camera. So I'm just kind of looking for any primer that's showing up or imperfections, which I already know there's plenty of that, but I'm just kind of looking for where maybe it's a little more thin. We'll start with the launch lugs. So technically that was the third coat, but I'm gonna do one more for good measure. Let's just really screw it up, huh? That's the fun about rocketry, you never know. Sometimes you just don't know. Work on this thing for weeks, months, days, and it's always that last paint stroke that's going to ruin it for you. Stroke to give you a stroke. If I just told you that I just had sputter come off of that, it hit right there in a nice big fat drip, that's what just happened. Wow. I thought the nose cone was bad. It's nothing that can't be fixed when it comes down to it. I'm not gonna clear coat it. I'm not gonna sand the paint or nothing. I could if I wanted to, but I'm not gonna, you know. This is good enough to fly now. We still got to put the mount on, the retainer, and the shot cord. And really, it's ready to go. And wait a couple days on this. And mask it off, probably like right about here. And then mask it this way. And then I'm going to paint all that black. And it's done. It's done. Then we can put decals on.